Someday has a way of never actually coming. And I think part of you already knows that. You might know this feeling, right? Something needs to change. You can't keep going like this. And you feel it, not in a panicked way, but in a deep, quiet way. Like you're running out of time to take care of yourself, and your body's telling you this, and your energy is telling you this. And somewhere underneath it all, you know that the choices you make now matter for how you're going to feel and function in the years ahead. And then you look at your actual life, right? The kids, the job, the endless list of things that need your attention. And the only way you've ever seen change happen is big change, right? Complete overhaul. So maybe a new diet or a new workout or new everything. And that feels impossible in the chaos you're living in right now, right? You can't do all that. And so you tell yourself someday, right? Someday when the kids are older, someday when work settles down, someday when you have more time. But here's what you probably already sense. Somewhere underneath all of it, someday has a way of staying just out of reach. If you're new here, I'm Julie Fikert. I'm a health and well-being coach, and this channel is for women who know what they want to do for their health, but can't quite seem to make it happen in real life. Putting things off to someday is not a character flaw. It actually makes complete sense. Here's the problem. We tell ourselves we'll start on our goal or the change we want to make, right? Like someday when school lets out for the year, or someday after the holidays, or someday when the kids move out, or my job finally calms down. Because the way you're planning to do this, that real meaningful change you want to make, it requires time, it requires energy, it requires breathing room to actually do it well. And you know what this change looks like, right? You've read the articles, you've scrolled Instagram posts, your doctor's given you advice, your friends have weighed in. Real change means going all in, right? The gym every day, eating a very specific way, maybe waking up earlier or finally getting to bed on time. The kind of change that would actually move the needle. And your life is legitimately too full for that right now. You know that in your soul. And that's not an excuse, that's just true. And yet, I'll bet you've tried anyway. So many times, right? Despite the exhaustion, the impossible schedule, everything working against you, you've tried. And those changes you made, they just didn't stick. And every time they don't stick, it adds another layer to something you've been carrying around for a long time. This quiet, painful belief that everyone else can do it and somehow you can't. Which is such a cruel irony because you are someone who does hard things every single day. You manage a household, a job, a family. You hold an enormous amount together. You're not someone who shies away from hard work or gives up easily. But this one thing, your own health, it keeps slipping. And that gap between everything you're capable of and this one thing you can't seem to make stick is one of the most quietly painful places we as women can live. You already have everything it takes to make the changes you want to make. You've been using it for everything else. I'll bet you're really organized. I'll bet you're determined. I know you're really good at juggling an enormous amount of stuff at once. You anticipate problems and correct for them before they blow up. You're using all these strengths to do everything for everyone around you. These are not small things. These are real hard-fought skills, and they're genuine strengths. You've been putting them to good use. Your family gets your planning, your job gets your determination, your community gets your follow-through. The people around you every single day benefit from how capable you are. But here's the thing I want you to sit with. All of that capability, all of that organization and determination and problem solving, it's going to everyone else. And somewhere in all of that giving, a question never gets asked. What does your body need? What does your brain need to keep functioning at its best? What do you need to keep going without running on empty? We're never taught to ask those questions, are we? We're taught the opposite. We're taught that our needs come last, that taking care of ourselves is somehow indulgent or selfish, that everyone else's needs are more urgent, more legitimate, more worthy of our attention than our own. And this is what I want you to hear. You already have everything you need to make the changes you want to make. That strength is there, that determination is there, the ability to figure things out and make them work is there. You've proven that over and over again with everyone else in your life. So the question worth asking is, what would it look like if you use those same strengths for yourself? So what does a different path actually look like? It starts with you. It's not a plan someone else designed. When we meet and we talk about a plan, it starts with what you already know about your life, your situation, and what matters to you, right? Because you're the expert in your own life. You know the 100 different constraints and competing demands that no one on the outside will ever fully understand. From there, we get clear on what you actually want to change. Not what you think you should change, not the list you got off Instagram. I want to know what you genuinely want. Because sustainable change only happens when it comes from deep inside of us. When it feels like our choice, not something imposed on us. When you're the one who gets to drive it. And your goal stays front and center at all times. That meaningful change you want is exactly what we work together towards. We're just designing the path differently. Instead of trying to put all the changes in place at once, we break it into small steps. The smallest step that would actually move you forward. Because here's the thing about small steps. Small steps that stick build momentum, and momentum builds on itself. One small step leads to the next, and the meaningful change you are after starts to happen in a way that actually lasts. Then we talk through your real life. How does this actually happen in the day you actually live? What needs to be in place? What problems might come up? And we plan for those problems before they happen, so that when life gets messy, because let's get real, it always gets messy, right? When life gets messy, you're already going to know what to do because we planned for it. This is where the real work happens, not in designing a plan that looks good on paper, in designing a plan that actually works in your real life. The women who make lasting changes are not the ones who change everything at once. They are the ones whose changes are small enough and specific enough to fit into their real lives without draining them. And they're not doing it alone. So here's what happens when your plan finally fits your actual life. First, your confidence goes up. Not because you suddenly believe in yourself more, but because you can actually see how it's going to work. You know what you're going to do. You know how you're going to handle the obstacles. You can see yourself succeeding. And that feels completely different from every other time you've tried. That shift in confidence does something else too. It quiets something that may have been very loud for a very long time. For so long, you have likely been carrying a weight of feeling like you're failing. Like everyone else can do these things and somehow you are the only one who can't. That weight is exhausting in ways that go so far beyond tired. And when you have a plan you actually believe in and you start taking small steps that actually work, that weight starts to lift. You become calmer, your body relaxes, you stop fighting yourself. You stop the constant self-blame. And you start moving toward the life you actually want, one small step at a time. Not because you finally found enough willpower, but because you finally found a path that fits. What you've been experiencing is not unique to you. This exhaustion of trying and the guilt of falling short, The quiet belief that everyone else has this figured out. That is the experience of so many women who are doing everything right and still hitting the wall. You're not broken. You're not behind. You're just trying to do this without the right support. I know you have the strength and I know you have the determination. You have the ability to make things work. You have proven that over and over again for everyone else in your life. What changes when you have the right support is that those strengths finally get to work for you. If something in this video resonated with you, I would love to have a real conversation about what this could look like for you specifically. I offer a free 30-minute call, and that's exactly what it is, a real conversation. We talk about where you are, where you want to be, and what keeps getting in the way. And whether working together, feels like it would be a good fit for you right now. There's no pressure, no obligation. It's just an honest conversation between two people just to see what the right step might be. So that link to book that call with me is in the description below. I hope to talk to you soon. Thanks for spending this time with me today. And please, as you go out in the world today, be as kind to yourself as you are to everyone else.